Hi, hi. So I will organize my stuff. We'll speak today. So if you arrive between the time that I'm taking my stuff, no problem. You can identify it yourself. If it's work for today, it will be even better than if it had been yesterday. So what do we have here? Oh, it's exactly what I wanted. And here. Got it. That's good. Where are you people? Where are you? We have 0. See, nobody's streaming right now. Someone should have the information. So we'll wait for you. Oh, I'm forgetting something. So this is the unpack part. If someone show up, because for now, that's pretty, not so much people. Nobody. Take that and put it here. This is our unpack. Oh, we have one person. Can you identify it yourself? One viewer in 2 minutes. We try again today. We'll see if someone is coming. I should begin to announce it in advance. In fact, nobody succeeded to receive any notification. So we have a second person. Can you identify yourself? That will be interesting. So nobody's there. But I don't see anybody live right now. What the hell? What's going on? Good. It's working right now. Coffee chat twist today. Oh, the Mincy Gunman. Fine, fine. I'm still waiting. Maybe we'll have other people. We'll see. Now the people start to see a little bit that I'm live. I don't know. Maybe that someone else is right now streaming. I don't know. Maybe they are like a big streamer live, but I don't see Berto Pro is not there. Anti Tracker is not there. Even DJ, the CEO, other people doing panels are not there. So I don't know if we will get people. We have been unlucky yesterday. Yes, you are there for a live stream. So maybe we'll do the live stream only for you. At this point, no problem. I want so much to speak about what I'm reading right now. I mean, it's so interesting. But what we can do, we'll wait after the people. Yes. I have Conan stuff today. And I received comics of Conan today. I was really glad. It was great. That's good. Yes, Conan collection is going better and better. So I bought other comics today that will come. Don't know when they will arrive. We have 3 persons. So obviously someone didn't identify himself. Or maybe it's give hope. Now that we are 3, maybe it will be more. Well, let's wait. It's not a problem if we start really after. If we take 5 minutes again to wait. Anyway, I will do my stream this time. Disregarding the number of people there. If there are only you with the Milsigan man, I will do it only for you. That will be like that for today. Because I want to speak about Conan today. I worked my first job, my new job, as in the meat department of the grocery. It was fair. It was no useless stress. Obviously, what is different with the parking? I mean, the parking, I have the possibility to be on computer, read comics, and working at the same times. But on the other side, I mean, I didn't saw the time going. I mean, we did a lot of stuff. I mean, distribute stuff, cutting meat, all that stuff, and it was I didn't saw the time going. So the time flies, and it was a small shift, 6 hour. I'm used to work really more than that a day, but tomorrow I return there. I will work again another 6 hour, so it will be interesting. So we have 3 persons right now, but only one is speaking, and this is the Multigun man. What happened with the others? What are you doing? Why are you not speaking? Write something. Identify yourself, please. We want to know who you are. We want to know who you are. Who are you? Who are you? This is what we want to know. LGD Pixel, yo, it's you. Good. Really glad. So we have 2 persons. The Mexican man said it might be good in the meat department. You won't be exposed to coronavirus as much as meat in the meat department. Yes, we are behind. We don't go so much with the clients. So this is not. I don't give directly services. So I am in. So I'm in the back, and I'm doing the meat and the stuff. So will give us maybe 2 or 3 minutes again, and I will start for the 2% there. You are my public, the Multigun Man and LGD Pixels. You are my public. Okay, but you can listen. That's not a problem. We know that you are there, so you will listen, and this is what's that matter. I maybe Bird is. I don't know if Birdie generally is one. He's always there. Maybe he's sleeping right now. I don't know. I don't know if they are like a Doomcock stream or something like that. Or I'm not sure. But anyway, I will start that, and it happened. What's gonna happen? That's it. So first, I want to say my objectives. That big Conan book. So there's one. It's in French. Okay. So this is the anthology of every novels wrote by Robert E. Howard. In that case, they are regrouped in 3 books. This is kind of like 3. This is a lot of novels, but they are like devised in 3 books. That 3 books are, yes, there's a thick one, and I like it. And for now, I have only like something like how much? Maybe 200. There are 1,200 pages to read in that book. So one of the first book is Conan the Cimmerian. So we have like 353 pages of stories plus appendix. So other stuff wrote by E. Howard that are linked to the universe of Conan. After that, they are the hours of the time of the dragon. That hymn is from 489 page to the 779th. And a huge appendix, a 50 page with a lot of like script, unfinished story, and all that stuff. And finally, the third books is The Red Nails. Oh, we have 4 people. Identify yourself, please. We'll be glad to see you. So, and that book's as it's from the 819th page to the 1101st page, and they are like a good appendix of at least 100 page with small stuff, extra stuff, bonus text, in fact. So right now, this is something like 1,300 books to read of Conan stories. And for now, I just read all of the Conan the Cimmerian. So the stories, then I read the introduction, and they are like also a poem about Cimmeria, the place where it's called in Conan. So I read that and the stories, and I read. I need to transfer The Sword and the Phoenix. How would they name? Because I have some of the. Oh, where is the one? Is the Frost Giant Daughter. I read the God in the Coffin, the Elephant Tower, and also the Rising Citadel, the Queen of the Black Cross, and also Black Colossus. This is all what I read. What is interesting with that book is, and in fact, this is a translation in French from a compilation, and I've been in English before. So there are all the books, all the stories are published in the order where they have been published and wrote by Robert E. Howard. what is different from example that series of Conan from Dark Horse that take the same stories but decide to put it chronologically on the story point of view. So that's really different. If you watch the Conan stories, start again and take the resume. If you speak about the Sword and the Phoenix example, in that story, Conan is already like a king. But if you go in the God in the Coffin, at this time, even if this is the third stories, Conan is a thief at this moment. So this is not in a chronology of stories. I mean, sometimes you have the Dark Horse. I think they are a good publisher. Yes, they were a strong independent publisher, but now after that they succeed to get really mainstream characters from movies, and they become to be really, really strong. Now they got financial problems, so they sold some of their important characters, included Conan. That Conan came back to Marvel, and many of the characters that when Dark Horse example went to the Dynamites or IDW. So now Dark Horse tried to rebuild itself. What made Dark Horse strong in the past is independent stories. So the point is that, and this is what they explain in the introduction, Robert E. Howard never wanted to create a kind of chronology of the life of Conan. He was telling stories like if Conan had tell that stories to him. And what he explaining, he said, when you speak with someone about his past, he never speak to you from A to Z. He speak about stories in non-specific order. So this is the way it's published. But a lot of people try to take all the stories of Robert E. Howard, including incomplete stories that have been like co-write, if you can say it, and to try to make a chronology, as we see, like a little bit like we see in a big franchise like Star Wars or Star Trek, and do a timeline, what they did. And when you speak about Dark Horse, this is what they try to do. So with Dark Horse, if you take an example, I will go search one. You at the beginning they try to do that really from the beginning, but the fact is that when they start to do it, they start with the number one, that the top, the story here. The first one is okay. That is the second stories wrote by Robert E. Howard. That is the Frost Giant Daughters here, and I read that stories in the book, in the big book. So they start with that, and they put other stories, because when they start the Dark Horse series, they made mainly stories like in a kind of chronology, but often they had kind of stories like let's say flashback stories on future stories that sometime were told by an oracle to Conan himself about his future, all that stuff. So when they made it in trade paperback, they tried to keep an order, and this is why the reason they create that trade paperback name, Born on the Battlefield. That is in fact the number 0, as you can see here. So the volume 0 is the first stories and you see like how Conan there is young, what happened when, and in fact they took all the flashback from the series and they put them together to create that, like when we said that prologue trade paperback named volume 0, Born on the Battlefield. So the second one in the series, but I will not show all the series, as you can see many of them out there, is the Tower of Elephant. And the Tower of Elephant when I see that, I know exactly what happened in the story. I will not spoil stories, because if you want to buy the book, I mean, it's better for you to have no too much spoiler. But what I can say, the story there, it started in a bar, a tavern, when Conan is at this time not a legion, is unknown. When you get all of your collection completed, they'll be make an excellent display of bookshelf. Yes, of course, it will be interesting to read too. So here Conan in the Tower of Elephant. Here it's the first you have here in Dark Horse, but also first in this is republished by Dark Horse, as you can see here. But like, but this is the origin Marvel original, and as you can see, this is also here Tower of the Elephant and other stories. So at some point, this is the two time. This is I will read three times, in fact, because I wrote the Tower of Elephant. And the Tower of Elephant is a story when Conan is not already is a thief. He's not already famous, but he have a lot of ambition, and he decided to go in a city where they are a tower named the Tower of the Elephant, where they are some kind of a lot of like a big. What I mean, they are a legendary Rubik's that people speak about. But what is weird of that tower that there are no guard, as the people know. We don't see any citadel, any nothing. And when Conan speak with one of the other thieves in the bar, they speak about the key of doom. Identify yourself. You did already 4-person. So people start to come. It's interesting. So Conan explained, speak with that thieves, and explain why nobody tried to steal the tower of the go to the tower and the elephant, and explain that they are like a very powerful sorcerer, and that sorcerer had beast guarding, and nobody could. And anyway, even if you succeed to go up in the tower, it's close to impossible to succeed to go out of the towers and survive. So finally, Conan is really explained that he can do it, and if the other didn't succeed, this is because they are cowards and they are a battle in the tavern. Of course, the other thieves is dead, dies, and he decides to go to the tower and steal. Yes, that's a great story. So I think you have to know that. So I will not spoil the rest, but it's really interesting stories. And this at this time, that the Tower of Elephant, Conan is a thief. If you see in the so Dark Horse puts it chronologically as the third this in the trade paperback 3, but Marvel puts it in the trade paperback 1. So that's the difference. And what is really interesting is in fact, this is and I want to be sure to not miss that, but this is the 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th story that have been the 4th novel that have been published by Robert E. Howard. So that's really and that's an amazing story, the way it's finished and all that stuff. This is really unexpected. I was really surprised by that, but seriously, it proved the way it's really interesting. What I like in the novels of Robert E. Howard is that when Conan is involved at the beginning of the story, he never say, "Oh, and arrived Conan." No, he described Conan, why he's not always dressed at the same way, and Conan arrive in the story of not always at the beginning. Often you have other characters that are there, and Conan arrive, and often Conan present. You read the first time the name of Conan, the story, when he present himself in a discussion, when he speak with other characters, and that's how I really like it. And anyway, when Conan arrived, when you start to describe it, you recognize him always, but you are like you wait, you are excited and you wait to hear him present himself, like he identified himself. So another story that I have, and this is the number one in. That's not the number. That's not a good one. Sorry, that's the trade paperback number one in the chronology of uh, Dark Horse, and this is the Frost Giant daughter. That's really interesting. I will must to say that that's a story of mythology, and that's a really short one. I mean, it doesn't happen so much often that, and but all the description and all the mythology and what is this is another kind of story where Robert E. Howard succeed to surprise people, and because you really want to know where it's go, well, all that stuff is going, and you just know at the end what's going on. So, but first, yes, my favorite Conan story is the number 30. That story about the time Conan took the Momo challenge. I never heard of that story, but I think that Conan is really brave, but he's not idiot. He will not do the Momo challenge. It's something really stupid to do the Momo challenge because you get hurt for nothing. You have nothing to win from the Momo challenge. Only Momo the challenger is a winner in that story. So Momo will always impose themselves in all the stream. Always, always. So what I said, it start after a battle when like a huge battle in the north. They are in the snow, and Conan finally get a confrontation with a really powerful warrior, and he won that confrontation. And after that, an amazing, unreal pretty girls is coming and start to provoke him and all that stuff. And he start to run to her and he tried to catch her. And that's a great story, seriously. But it's one of the first story, as I remember, in the book and the published stories by Conan, the Cimmerian. That story arrived, I think this is the second one. Yes, this is the second one. And at this moment, the story are really, really, shorter. So the two first stories, because that's the way the publication named the Weird Tales. At the beginning, Howard was trying to sell his characters, and obviously had less places in the publication to write the stories. So often that two first one was short because before Conan, Howard was known as a pulp writer, fantasy writer, but he was writing Cole, and Cole is a more historical character, and there are less fantasies, and he's really like more serious character. When you wrote Conan, when the first story of Conan's have been wrote, at the beginning it was a kind of story for Cole, but Howard decided to modify it and put fantasy in it. And this is why there are many differences between Cole and Conan, but Conan has really, really more fantasy, most monsters and paranormal stuff. So the gods are really involved and all. So it's really interesting on that point. If we can go, so I have two other trade paperback here from Dark Horse about who I want to speak, and this is two of the stories that I read, the two last one that I read, and the first that I read this one, The Queen of the Black Coast. That's amazing. And this is really interesting, the way that the character of Conan, you understand him but by what he says. And of course Howard sometime give description of the feeling that Conan have, but this is really in some quote of Conan's, then you better understand the character. In that book, in that story, Conan is again a thief,
And as a thief, he's again in a tavern. In fact, all begin like Conan is on his horse, and he decide to go on a boat, and he go with his horse directly on a boat, and his blade is full of blood. And the captain of the boat said, who are you, and what are you doing?" And Conan say, "If you don't want that I paint of blood all that boat, let's continue and don't lose any time." And after that, finally, the captain, they are like soldiers from the city that arrive and try to and ask to stop the boat because they want to arrest Conan. So that's really interesting. What Conan will answer, he will explain what happened exactly, why they want to arrest him. Is because he was in a tavern, and one moment, a captain of the guard have been aggress a girl that was in fact the girlfriend of a soldier, and the soldier killed the guard, the his superior, and they ran away. And because they were with Conan at this moment, the police, but in fact the guardian of the city, arrest Conan, and they try to get information about the killer. And he refused because he said, I will not sell one of my friend. It's on his pattern, on his value as a barbarian." So they bring in front of the judge for obstruction, what we can name obstruction of justice. And the judge, and Conan explains, the judge asked to me and explained to me, he asked to me why I don't want to answer to the question, why I don't want to explain, to say who is the killer, and to identify them, because it's important to identify himself or identify the other. So and he said a lot of stuff about the respect of the court and all, and Conan said he said many things also that I didn't understand and understood, because Conan is a barbarian and he doesn't understand often civilized word where everything is complicated, and I mean this is not his cup of tea. So he repeat to the judge. He said, I'm not gonna say who did that. I will not sell my friends. So the judge started to scream again him. And as Conan said, he started again to scream again to me, and he said that I will go in jail until the moment I will give the information. And I was so tired and angry about that I took my sword and I broke his skull. So he broke the skull of the judge in front of everybody, and after that, he left the court. With his sword, making him paving the way with his sword, and he ran away. So that's really interesting the way that, and Robert E. Howard always does that with Conan. He's explaining how Conan is unable to adapt to this civilization, even if he will become as a king. You see, when you read about the first stories, that the sword and the phoenix, in that story, Howard explained how Conan speak how it's boring to be king, and he missed the battlefield, and all that politics for him is so like it's tougher. It's harder to support that anything else that he saw on the battlefield. So that's really interesting, and that's another proof of it. So Conan, after that, finally this is the story where he will meet Belly. Belly is a pirate woman, and that will fell in love with him. And after that, they are going to an expedition. So I will not say more about it because I don't want to spoil it. In the case because Conan's story is already interesting when nobody spoil about it, because you follow the sentences and the paragraph of Robert E. Howard, and and after that you discover exactly where that story is going. And I mean, he's always succeed to surprise people. The last thing, and this is one of the last comic I received today, Black Colossus. That's really interesting. And this is the last story I read in that book. And that's another good example how Robert E. Howard succeed to bring his character by, I mean, he's not the last character to arrive in the stories, but he arrived late in the stories. What we know, we have in, it starts with Howard first started to speak about the thief going in a tombs and a sepulcher, and finally fighting a snake, and after that try to go search to finally take the rubics, the diamond that are there, and after that the guy's speaking to be petrified, and it doesn't give any other explanation about that. After that, it switch in the city where like a princess is harassed by a sorcerer that take his form, like his non-material form, to go harass her. He explained all with his army he will slaughter all her country and will put enslaved all the people and keep only her as her queen because he's in love with her. Pretty toxic love, forced to admit. And the princess is she's scared. She got amulet from her the local god and all the stuff. Nothing worked. So a servant said to her, I mean, at this point, you see that it doesn't work. You should go see and worship Mitra. That is an important, really important god in the Conan universe, and has to Mitra to help you. And she go to the temple of Mitra, and she asked help to Mitra, and Mitra explained, okay, we have 2 thumbs up and 4 people. Glad to see that. Maybe there are someone new. If you are 5 people, if there are someone new, all the nation, great, really great. Glad to see you. 5 persons. I mean, maybe there are someone else that didn't identify themselves. So don't be afraid to identify yourself. We are continuing to speak about Black Colossus from Conan. No spoiler, but we'll start just the story. So she went to the Mitra temple and asked Mitra to save her from that. And Mitra explained, I will help you. What you need to do is you go alone in the city during the night. And the first man that you meet, we all know who it is. The first man that you meet, then you see, and you meet in the streets, you go to him, you ask his help. And obviously, she went in the streets alone, and she meet a big barbarian, drunk barbarian, is there. And that's, as I said before, that's great because she speak with the barbarian. We all know who is that barbarian, and the barbarian present himself. He's up in it, speak, ask question, and during the conversation, and finally he present himself. He identified himself as people should do here, and he said, "And this is Conan." And she bring Conan to the castle, and finally she decided. After that, she meet a little bit and spoke with him a little bit. She decided to make Conan a barbarian that, in fact, at this moment is a mercenary, and to make him her general for the army. Because at this moment she's menaced by that sorcerer that have his army, and there are also problem with her brother, the prince, that is being like kidnapped, and I mean she need to do something, and Conan decide that okay, so we'll go at war with that sorcerer. So I'll not go explaining anything, but at this moment, Conan, that is a mercenary, became like a general, and he go to war against a sorcerer that have a huge army and harass a princess that he just meet today. And that's absolutely amazing a story. I love that. I love that so much. I love that story of the Black Colossus, and I can't wait to got finally Wet Mist. Horrible Nation. You will. I can't wait to get the Wet Mist from my collection of Dark Horse of Conan to read again that stories, but I mean with image as a comic because I'm still a comic fan, and I'm a big Conan fan and I'm a big comic reader, and the two of them together is great. Um, but first, when I will read the comics from Conan, I will start by that series. That's a Chronicle of Conan that I also already all completed, and this is like Marvel stuff, and some stories are inspired by Robert E. Howard. Some stories are completely created from made up from nothing, and this is what in the introduction of the books they said. Oh, Conan finally became a superhero, but that's in the comics from Marvel. This is what he speak about. But me, I have no problem with all the interpretation. Even if you like the movie, you watch the movie with Schwarzenegger. I love him, but in fact, this is not the real story of Conan. This is I mean, it's like a merge between Cole and Conan, but that's amazing. I mean, but the spirit of the character is there. Yes, yes, the Key of Doom. The stuff of Marvel in the 70s is great. Some of them are inspired by Robert E. Howard. Other stuff are completely created from nothing. And this is why we have Red Sonja today, because Red Sonja is not a creation of Robert E. Howard. This is a creation from Marvel. And I love Red Sonja too. So Red Sonja is an amazing character, and I mean it's just like a spin-off of the universe of the Robert E. Howard. So we'll speak a little bit also about stuff that I received today. So again, I've got that one. I explained to you the situation with that Mirror and Smoke from Star Trek Voyager. I'm buying the comics with 7 of 9. And this one I got one time and I bought it a second time by mistake. So the first one I received, I sold it with doubles of Green Hornet and some like... some Star Trek CCG card game to CCG, in fact, to my friend. So I get there and I will read it. This is interesting. Mirrors and Smoke, and the other stuff I have, and my collection of the Spirit is more completed. That's a crossover between the Spirit and Batman. And like you say, the face of the Spirit and the face of Batman. There are someone that is happier than the other to work in that team. But I will really soon read that. I think right now I'm reading a lot of Conan novels, but I think I will take a little break for like maybe 20, maybe 20 minutes or 1 hour, of an hour, and really read that completely because I want to put it on my wall with other comics. I wanted the Spirit comics on my wall, and this is the only one shot I have. All the other I had, this is art covers, trade paperback, and it's not going on the wall really well. So this one with Batman and that face, look the face of the Spirits, how annoying it look. But this is the character is like that. He's always have been like that. I mean, he was annoying with Commissioner Dolan. Now he's annoying with Batman. That's exactly the same stuff. So guys, I'm a little bit tired. I did 45 minutes. We are only 3. We got some visit. I was glad about it. So I will keep that for another time. So we will watch that another time. I will try to announce this is the last 20 Green Hornet comics, and I want to watch it with that when we have at least 10 or 12 people. So we'll keep that for later. I'm a little bit. I need to drink something. I didn't eat when I was working at work, and I was like, we are like in a big refrigerator at the job, so I will keep that for another time because, and we'll speak about that later. I mean, each time, this is not an emergency, and it would be great to do it when we have more people. I think that for tonight, 45 minutes of streaming, this is enough. Guys, I was really glad to speak to you about Conan today. Anyway, we still have. I will continue to read the book, and I will continue to speak about the stories that I read in the book to you. Maybe I will try to finish the first part, that is Conan, the Conan the Cimmerian, and maybe speak a little bit about the stories that I read, and also show to you the equivalent in, but that's still the cover in comics from Dark Horse or Marvel. But obviously, we are far to have to. This is far to be the last time that we'll speak about Conan on the stream, because because I have so much comic behind, and that book is really big. And each time that we'll read some trade paperback, we will compare the trade paperback with the original story from Robert E. Howard. And so it will be great. So on that point, I was really glad to speak with the people that went around. So LDG Pixels, the Multigun Man, Tiki of Doom, Orville Nation. For people that watch the streams later, after that as a video, I hope that you like it, and I will try in the future to announce in advance my streams. So in that case, people will be able to prepare and to come. So thanks for the 3 likes. Maybe we'll get more in the future. And on that, I wish you a really good night. Yes, thank you very much, the Multigun Man. We try to be the best. We try to be to do the best streams as possible. I mean, we try to be the most interesting as possible, and it succeeds sometimes. The majority, and on the majority of the streams, I'm not screaming. You know, it's happened only one time. I was really angry, but it was not on that channel, so it doesn't matter. So we will speak again about comics and Conan and other stuff, because I still have, and as you can see, we have the spirit. We'll need to speak a little bit more about the spirit. I will get new Star Trek stuff really soon. I will have, and obviously, I mean, we didn't start already Judge Dredd. I mean, this is a lot of stuff. Okay? So on that, wash your hands and don't do, please don't do the Momo challenge. Don't do it.